Greetings, beloveds. Happy Imbolc, happy Imbolc. This is the midway point from the winter solstice to the spring equinox. Now, if we go back to our time at the autumn equinox, we started that descent inwards, right? The leaves started to be released from the trees. And then we went to Samhain, and that's like that deep shadow, the ancestral healing. And then we went deep into the winter solstice where we make space, we go into the void, we reflect, we dream, we retreat. And now this time of Imbolc, which is February 1st, but anywhere from the last couple of days of January to the start of February, over that week, we really honor retrieving our gifts from the darkness. We've made all that space. We've taken that time to go really deeply inwards. And then it's like, what did you plant? Because this is a time of fertility. Imbolc itself means in the belly, if you look at all the sheep, they've got the lambs in their belly, the calves are in the cow's belly. So this is what this time is. It means in the belly. And then they'll all be born in the spring. We also have Imbolc, which means the milk, right? So this is such a powerful time of fertility. This is the time of like reawakening after the long, dark winter. And, you start to look around in nature because that's what we're doing. We're looking to her. We start to see all the little buds, right? And it's like, okay, I'm starting to wake up. And now that I've given myself this space to go into the cave, to go into the underworld, like we went in there with Mama Bear and, Grandmother Spider, we went deep into that underworld to come out now into the light. Like this is the promise of the return of the light, right? And there is parts of the world definitely that still have snow at this time of Imbolc, but it's the promise of the waking up, right? And still for our ancestors, this would have been a time where, all the fruit and vegetables weren't growing yet. So, there was this time of, okay, thank goodness the days are getting longer, right? We've had those short days and the nights are getting shorter. So there is this sun that's starting to come back and this promise. And then by spring equinox, it's the time of blossoming. So with this powerful, powerful time of fertility, I'm going to invite you to carry on watering all those seeds that you've been planting at the winter solstice, all that deep work that you're doing. And now it's time to receive that, to retrieve that. And we do that from our mindfulness. We do that from consciously going, okay, so now it's, we had that acceptance, we had that deepening, we had that releasing and that healing. And now it's like, how can I start to bring some action? How can I start to bring, with this powerful energy of fertility coming? So I have some important questions for soul inquiry that I'd love to go through with you. So if you've got a candle that you can light, and if you've got like a nice throw or cushion or a warm cup of tea, and you can pause here and gather pen and paper, and you can go into your meditation area, you could go out into nature, wherever feels good to you. You could sit in the windowsill and get the sun, whatever feels most honoring. This is all about deep listening to your soul, your heart, your body, your emotional body, your mental body. And so let's go over some questions, right? So the first one is, what no longer serves me? And how can I leave it behind so I can move forward? So it's this midway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to leave all this deep, uncovering patterns, beliefs, thoughts that, you've had or you've carried, right? Since childhood, past lives, right? And it's this conscious choice of, I'm going to leave those stories behind because I'm not those stories. And I'm going to let these buds come through and I'm going to let myself shine and blossom more than I ever have before. What lies dormant and what would I like to focus on more? So things aren't coming up. Like there's still maybe ice, there's still maybe snow, like the flowers aren't blossoming yet, but they're right there and they're ready to come through. So this is a beautiful time to ask yourself, like, what is it that is wanting, that is longing to come through and to be fully aligned and expressed in your beingness, in your relationships, in your life. What is ready to emerge? And what am I going to do to support this? So, whatever that is, it could just be feeling happier, it could be being willing to go out more, it could be a change in a relationship, it could be a change in a job, it could be, stepping more into your purpose, whatever that may be. So, what is ready to emerge and what am I doing to support this? So whatever is ready to emerge, what are you willing now to put into action to start moving towards your intentions and your truest heart and soul desires? So I really want you can pause in between all of these questions. Next one, what can I do to revive and nourish my body and spirit, right? Because, in the Gregorian New Year, we just come into the new year. In the Celtic wheel, it's really back in Samhain because we believe is like this is what we've done. We've been coming through the birth canal all through Samhain and the winter solstice. And now we're just about to birth. Like it's this time of fertility and we're about to birth at this time of Imbolc and fully when we get to the spring equinox. So how can you revive and nourish your body and spirit? So maybe it's more nutrition, maybe it's more greens and juicing, maybe it's more soups, maybe it's more meditation or exercise, getting out in nature, dancing. So what is it that would maybe it's more sleep? Like what is it that will nourish and revive you? Your body, mind, and spirit, all of it. What practice can I do today to connect my inner needs and desires? So what is that practice for you? For me, it's journaling, like that soul inquiry. And these questions, like I would go through these questions too. And it's like, what are my inner needs and desires? Like, what do I need in order to be able to go into that action to align and become closer with my truest heart's desires? So what is that practice and how can you make it a daily practice, perhaps? It's like you wake up and you just go inwards. You take that time to meditate, to go inwards, to listen to your inner guidance. And then you visualize, like you start seeing yourself. Like the power of visualization is so powerful. So let's say it is a new home, right? So what do I need to release in order to align with that? What action would I need to take if that is a new home, going looking, what would it be? And then the next piece is visualizing yourself in that home, all of that. Okay. Based on the intentions I set for myself at the winter solstice, just 6 weeks ago, do I notice anything new beginning to manifest itself, right? So, because the moment we bring our consciousness and our awareness to something, right, we shine the light on it. That's like most of it right there. The second part is just by showing up, right? So, based on your intention, so you clearly declared, like, this is my intention. This is what I truly embody and know that I deserve, right? But then what do you notice shifting? And so it's just showing up. So if it's every day coming down into your meditation and then visualizing, that's your everyday step, right? And then what are the action steps to manifest it in the tangible physical world, right? Because that power of the world of the quantum physics and going deep into our intuition. But then we want to come and take those practical steps, right? What would they be? So what changes do I see in my surroundings? And how is nature shifting and preparing for this new season? So we see the buds starting to come up. We start to feel that life force in the air. We can get out for walks that bit earlier in the morning or get out that later in the night because the days are starting to become longer. So you start to see that shift in Mother Earth and we start to feel that within ourselves, like that deep inward sitting in by the fire. And that can still happen because we are still at that midway point. So we're like halfway in between winter solstice and halfway in between the spring equinox. So what needs are alive in me? And that's a good question to ask yourself every day. What needs are alive in me? So I want you to really sit with that. How have those needs shifted in that past year? So maybe something that aligned last year and needs and desires don't align anymore. And we have to keep with this deep self-inquiry so we can go, okay, I am complete with that. That's not really in alignment. That's not really serving anymore. But this is, and this feels really good. And I'm going to bring more of this in. And then which aspects of my self-care need tending to? So what is that? What sense of nurturement, and maybe it's the boundaries, maybe it's rest, or maybe it's moving more. So when you daily check in, right, and don't get rigid about your practices, just like, what feels really good for me here today? Like, I want to go for a swim. I feel like I want to go for a swim, or, I want to go out into the forest, or I need to be at the water today, or I just need to be still today. So just really, really listening and asking yourself, like, what are all those gifts I'm going to retrieve from the darkness? So this time of Imbolc, we really honor beloved goddess Bridget. She's also our patron saint. And Bridget is the goddess of the hearth, the home, the land. She's the goddess of creativity, poetry, bards. So we have Bridget's Well in Kildare, but that's where she's from. And Bridget just brings this energy of love and nourishment and compassion. And she also has the eternal flame up at Solace Bride, it's called, in Kildare, where these beautiful nuns hold the flame and keep it lit. Like it's called the eternal flame, and it doesn't go out. They just keep lighting it after lighting it, and you can visit it. You can gather water from the well, and there's a tradition where you can bring a blanket or a pillowcase, and you can soak it in the well water, and then let it dry. And then if you are not well, have a fever, anyone in the house, you wrap them in the blanket, that they sleep in with their head on the pillowcase. And I love gathering the water. I ask to gather the water and use it for space clearings and clearing my energy field, put it in a little spray bottle. And then you can bring a candle and you can light your candle from the eternal flame at Solace Bride. So you then carry on carrying on that eternal flame. And then you can just keep lighting your candles at home. So again, you just keep that eternal flame. So her energy is so beautiful. And because she is the goddess of the earth, like the earth is constantly communing with us and modeling us, it's like, okay, it's time to go inwards. Okay, it's time to emerge. So as we look to her, we receive such powerful, potent guidance. And then Bridget is the goddess of the home. And as we're at this time of kind of that awakening time, it's a beautiful, powerful time to start clearing out any clutter, clearing out anything that's not aligning. So getting your home in alignment, fixing things that are broken. Like I just did a complete decluttering in my kitchen and aligned it. So, for more nutrition and cooking more. And oh my gosh, it just feels so amazing. And it's so inspiring for me to want to get more creative in the kitchen and make healthier foods. And I've, aligned it in such a way that the kids and I can all be juicing together and creating together. So an invitation as well at this time of Imbolc is look around your home and is the artwork, is it speaking to you? Is it in alignment with who you are and what is coming out to blossom? So I'm sending so much love to you at this time of Imbolc, and would love to have you join the Divine Woman year-long program, where we go through all the points in the wheel and go deep into the goddesses and deep into what the energy of this time of year has. So I'm sending so much love your way. Happy Imbolc loves.